Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joey's Retro Newscast. It is Friday, so here's all of your retro handhelds, retro gaming, and gaming news. I don't have an opener for today. Let's talk about news. I somehow missed this from a few weeks ago, but if you're using Xenia Canary, the Xbox 360 emulator on PC, you can add in the old school Xbox 360 dashboards, including the Blades dashboard, which is pretty cool. So I just want to let everybody know about this. This is something that will only affect a few people that are watching this, but if you want to load into Xenia Canary and have it load into the old Xbox 360 front ends, you can do that now. PCSX2 X6 is now out. And for anybody not familiar with this, PCSX2 is a PS2 emulator. However, this is a fork for Namco System 246 and 256 emulation. Now, I am not familiar with either of those systems, but this was forked to be able to play games from that list. There is a general compatibility tracker for all of the games, and you can go and check it out. So, if Namco System 246 and 256 emulation is something you've been waiting for, you should go check it out. PCSX2 fork, it's called PCSX2 X6, and you can find it in the sources. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this because we talked about it last week when it was pre-release, but Game Native 1.0 is now actually officially out. It was pre-release last week, now it is officially out. As far as I'm aware, the only differences between pre-release and 1.0, or the official release, is bug fixes. So just update if you haven't to the newest release, and if you're using Obtainium, it should update you automatically. But give Game Native a try. The full 1.0 release is now out, and they've done a ton of work over the last year or so. Like, it's been crazy. So it's awesome. Congrats to them on the 1.0 launch, and yeah, awesome. ARM SX2 Refresh is now out, and this is the PS2 emulator on Android that they had ARM SX2 before. Then they decided they're going to redo it entirely. This is the new refresh. So ARM SX2, the very first release, is now out for the public use, and I've tried it. I am going to say that for the general user, you are going to want to wait a little bit longer. If you want to test and provide feedback to ARM SX2 and the devs, then you can go test it out. It is missing quite a bit. It is still very bare bones, but you can see what they're going for. I will say the community does need a proper PS2 emulator, like one that has everything. Because right now, as good as Nether SX2 is, it isn't the way forward. So I'm hoping ARM SX2 is the way forward. I know the Nether SX2 dev has been working with them as well. So we'll see how this goes, but I'm excited for this. At some point in the future, this should be the PS2 emulator to get. I know I said this a long time ago, but hopefully we'll get there. There's a new update to Armada, and for those that don't remember what Armada is, it is that SteamOS built for ARM handhelds. So if you have a Odin 2, Thor, a bunch of INEO devices, things like that, you can actually install SteamOS onto an SD card right now, which is Armada, and have your own little mini Steam Deck operating system-like experience. Notice how I said operating system. I'm not going to call it a mini Steam Deck because they aren't, and I'm not going to do that. But if you want a SteamOS experience with games on Linux and ARM and all of that, then you want Armada. Now, the updates here, and this is why I'm talking about it once again, is there's new support for untested devices. So they've added a whole bunch of devices. But the biggest thing here is over-the-air updates are enabled. So before, you would have to reflash the SD card every time there's a new update. Now, you can flash this update, and you could just update within the app or within SteamOS to get new updates. That's why this is big news. That's why you should check it out. Finally, I am actually playing with this on my Odin 3, so I'll be able to do a video pretty soon on this. But if you want SteamOS or SteamOS-like experience on an Android handheld without ruining your Android handheld, then check out Armada, and I'll have a video up on this pretty soon. Okay, and as usual, we have our question of the week. Now, this week's question was very easy for me to come up with. There was a ton of shows this week. We had the State of Play, we had the Summer Game Fest, we had the Xbox Showcase, and we had the Nintendo Direct. Direct. There's 4 shows there with a ton of games that, like, if you couldn't find one game to be excited for, this is not your hobby. Like, you should not even be here. I can understand that there is a disconnect. There are some people who are like, I only play retro games. I'm only excited about retro games. That is my thing. And sure, good on you. That's your thing. But like even then, there are still retro looking games that showed up. So like if there was not one game that you could not figure out, then I don't know what you're doing here. For everybody else, we're going to go with one. What was your favorite announcement over the last week from any of the shows? Favorite announcement, or if you want to do one from each show, it doesn't matter. The point is, I'm curious to know what everybody is excited for. Now, as usual, I always answer my question of the week with what my answer is, but I'm going to make you wait on that one. We'll talk about this later on in the game news when we go over the shows a little bit more and what I think about them. Jumping over into device news now, and when it rains, it pours. Basically, AYN, Odin 3, and Thor prices are going to be going up. So the 7th pre-order batch for the Thor and 8th pre-order batch for the Odin 3 have now started and they're available, but they're giving us a heads up that there's going to be a price increase for both the Thor and the Odin 3 later this month. Now, we don't know what the price increase is going to be. It could be $10, $20, $30. We have no idea, but it is going up, and this is kind of expected at this point. A few quick notes that they mention. This new pre-order batch is going to still use UFS 3.1 storage, and orders from this new batch are going to be expected to be shipping in August. So, if you are waiting to buy a Thor or Odin 3 for whatever reason still and you have not bought one, this is your time to buy one again before it goes up once again. The Anbernic RGDS is in the news again because when Anbernic is in the news, it isn't for anything very good. In this case, they have actually changed the RGDS from being 100% matte, or from being 100% glossy to 100% matte. Sorry. They used to be glossy, they are now matte. This is something that I guess people have been finding out over the last few weeks, but I had not seen this until I saw a Reddit post. And yeah, if you wanted a glossy RGDS, I guess it's now like a collector's item of some sort. So you can't get one of those. But if you want a matte one, well, just order, because I guess that's what they have nowadays. Anbernic and stealthily downgrading handhelds this year is very interesting. Very interesting. We have two new handheld announcements from TrimUI. We have the TrimUI Brick Pro and the TrimUI Hammer Pro U. Let's talk about the Brick Pro first because it is the least exciting of the two. The Brick Pro is running the A133P processor, same as the TrimUI Smart Pro, same as the Brick, it is that same processor. Except now, this Brick Pro has sticks. So it is a brick with sticks. That is exactly what it is. It has all the same screen, same specs for the most part. You have 1 GB of RAM and all that sort of thing. This is not exciting at all. You can imagine that this, I'm going to guess, is going to be like $100, $110, if I had to guess. Because if you go look at the pricing for the Brick, it is still like $99 or $90 something dollars. So we're looking at like $100, $110 for this. Definitely, for sure. The more exciting device here, or exciting until we find out the price, is the TrimUI Brick Pro U Hammer. This is going to be using the Snapdragon G2 Gen 1 processor, which I saw a lot of people say is the same processor as the Retroid Pocket G2, but it is not. This is the Snapdragon G2 Gen 1. So it's before that one. You have the same screen as the TrimUI Brick, and we have sticks. We have better Bluetooth at 5.1. We have 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage. And that is kind of it. So this is a bigger, this is a more powerful brick with sticks and everything. Now, there's a part of me here that is excited for this kind of, look, actually, I would be excited without the sticks and a different brick. Okay, well, let's back up here. We have a lack of verticals in the space and a lack of good verticals in the space, and then we have a lack of verticals with sticks in the space. Verticals with sticks in the space don't really excite me at all. I don't find them to be very good. They're not very comfortable when you use the sticks down there. But there's a lot of people that want that. There's a lot of people that wanted a Retroid Pocket Classic with sticks, although this isn't that because it's not an OLED screen, but there's people that wanted that. Whereas I'm the opposite. I want the Retroid Pocket Classic as is because I don't want the sticks on a vertical. Long story short though, when we look at this device here with the Snapdragon G2 Gen 1, I am scared about the price of this. I am scared because I could see this being $150. Like, I don't see how it isn't $150, put it that way. If we look at the Brick Pro, that is going to be $110, let's say. Could this be $130? I mean, it's possible. Is it $150? More likely. In which case, do you buy this over the Snap or the Retro Pocket Classic? I wouldn't, personally, but would you buy this? I guess some people would. I don't know. The TrimUI has done great things. I really like TrimUI. However, I feel like they're making mistakes lately. Like, they should upgrade the Smart. TrimUI Smart. Upgrade that, please. Like, we need another one of those. Make a small horizontal handheld. Nobody else is doing it. But, like, you have one. You've made a few of them. The TrimUI Model S, the TrimUI Smart. Make another one of those. Like, you can make it cheap now because nobody is spending a lot of money on a handheld. Or, like, with everything so expensive, you can make a budget handheld in this market. So, like, that's where I go. This, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people are excited about this, but I think when the price hits, that's where all the excitement will deflate. So that's where I'm at. I'm skipping ahead, but I would love to be proven wrong because I know there's a lot of people that might be excited about this. I don't know. It's not for me. So it's hard for me to look past that. But let me know in the comments, what do you think about either of the TrimUI releases? Okay, next up, we have a new device from Retroid. Are you excited? Drum roll? Drum roll? Drum roll? It's a Retroid Pocket 6, 12GB RAM configuration. That's it. There was a lot of rumors that Retroid was going to announce a new device or new devices this morning. And then the whole thing was a 12GB RAM Retroid Pocket 6 with 128GB of RAM and only exclusive to silver, 16-bit, and black. Now, if you are confused because you remember there being a 12GB RAM Retroid Pocket 6, you wouldn't be blamed for that because there was a Retroid Pocket 6 that was 12GB of RAM and it had 256GB of storage, but it was discontinued. And now it's back for the same price, $279, with 128GB of storage and 12GB of RAM. It's in stock. You can go buy it. Again, silver, 16-bit, or black only. The one question that everybody's going to ask is it worth it? The answer to me is no. And it is a long-winded answer. Let's back this up here. Okay. The 8GB RAM Retro Pocket 6 can play anything. Like, you have one, you can play whatever you want. The 12GB RAM option, people point to as being better for PC emulation, 2 Switch games, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, in some scenarios, not going to say all scenarios, and some PS3 emulation. Now, can you play all those games on an 8GB Retro Pocket 6? Yes, absolutely. Is there noticeable improvements on 12GB RAM option? No. The other problem is, with 128GB of storage, you can't put the games that would benefit from the more RAM on that. So you're going to have to use an SD card, which is slightly gimped when it comes to PC emulation. So you're going to need an A2 SD card if you're going to be doing that at all. And even then, the speed is a little bit slower than the internal storage, of course. Now, that is the big problem here. So you're getting 12GB of RAM. You don't have the internal storage to support it. You're going to have to use an SD card. I don't know. And you can't actually play the games that would use the extra RAM anyways. Like, they're not going to run well or run at all. So there's that too. I don't see the reason for this in all honesty. But then you go back to the part that this is $35 extra. So you're paying $35 extra for 4GB more of RAM. There's worse things that you could spend money on. It's not a big deal. You can grab that. Would I grab that? No. I would not grab either Retroid Pocket 6. I would grab the Portal at $249 because that is an insane deal at $249 and much better than the Retroid Pocket 6. But if you wanted a Retroid Pocket 6, I don't see the reason why you would get the 12GB RAM option without an increase in storage. That ties together for me. That is the part, like when people buy the Pro models from AYN or the Max models from AYN, for the most part, they're not doing it for the RAM, they're doing it for the storage. When I bought the Max Thor, it was because the 1TB Max was cheaper than buying a 1 terabyte SD card. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get that. Why wouldn't I? When I grabbed the Odin 2 Portal Pro, I grabbed it because of the color, white, but also because it was 512 gigabyte internal storage, plus the 12 gigabytes of RAM. To just get RAM, I don't see the reason you would do this at all. It's not a large amount of money. It's $35, but I still don't see the reason you would do it. So to me, this doesn't make sense. Maybe to somebody else, it might, but I don't see the data isn't there to support this. So it's going to be a thing where people will buy it just because it's $35 and it's not a lot of money. And they're just going to be like, I'm future-proofing or whatever, but it's not necessary. So if you want to save the money, you can. These are my opinions. Okay, and before we talk about actual game news, we have our Game of the Month information that you should know about. Our Game of the Month right now is Little Big Planet for PSP. Our ROM hack of the month is Pokemon Emerald Rogue V2 for Game Boy Advance. It's actually really cool. And our Game of the Season, which ends this month, is Chrono Trigger for Super Nintendo. We put systems there, but you could play any version of these games if you wanted to. Most important thing is that you play these games, so come join us. I guess I didn't mention where. You should come join us on the Discord. That's where we're doing all of this. Come join us on the Discord. Okay, and like I promised earlier in the question of the week, we're going to talk about game news here. I am somebody who gets very excited about games. I'm somebody who loves games in all forms, retro, modern, whatever, it doesn't matter. So when these new shows show up for me, it is big news for me. I wake up early for them. I stay up for them. I am excited for game news in all forms. This week we had 4 showcases. It was an E3. And I don't know, younger people might not know what an E3 is. It is a games festival during June. And so we had the State of Play by PlayStation. We had the Summer Game Fest, which was by Jeff Keighley, who does pretty much everything. We had the Xbox Showcase by Xbox, and then we had the Nintendo Direct by Nintendo. So there was a lot of games that I wrote down that I was excited about, and then I had to trim that list because all those games are coming out in September or this year. So I'm going to give you a trimmed down list of my releases that I plan on playing this year because there's a lot. So here it is. This year is amazing, and next year is even going to be amazing too. So it's an awesome time to be playing video games. First game up is actually coming out next week, and it is Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. This actually has a demo, so you could go try this out. It's about 4 hours or so. I played it. This is made by the Octopath Traveler team, so it has that same HD 2D style, but it is an action RPG style instead of a turn-based one. And the graphics are amazing. I'm really liking the actual game, so I'm excited about this one. Comes out June 18th. If you're excited, you should go check it out. Just play the demo. It'll tell you if you want to play it or not. Next up is Doom Revelations, which is July 7th. This is DLC for Doom the Dark Ages. I didn't love Doom the Dark Ages. I thought it was one of the weaker Dooms, but I will take more Doom. I won't say no to more Doom. Doom is still great as a baseline. I just wish it was a better game. The DLC looks really good, so I'm excited about that. Next up is Assassin's Creed Black Flag, July 9th. I have never played Black Flag, so this is my entry point to that game. I've played Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and I think 3, and then I've played Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, Mirage, Shadows, whatever. For some reason, I have not played Black Flag, so I'm excited about playing it. I'll jump into that. Echoes of Aincrad, July 10th. This is the Sword Art Online game. I'm grabbing this because they finally dubbed it. I had a hard time getting into any of the Sword Art Online games because they were not dubbed. This one is finally dubbed. I will get in there. But it doesn't have Kirito as far as I know. I like Sword Art Online, so that's why I'm jumping in. But it doesn't have the main characters as far as I'm aware. But either way, I'm excited about that. Wolverine, September 15th. This is where things start to get bad. Wolverine, September 15th, I am super excited for. It is a linear Wolverine game. It is not like open world like Spider-Man. That is really cool. I like that. They had a whole showcase and showed it off. It looks really good. Yeah, I have nothing else to say. I'm going to be there Wolverine day one. I'll probably take that day off, although I might have to take the week off because Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave is September 17th. So 2 days after Wolverine is Fire Emblem, which I am going to be playing Fire Emblem. There's no not playing Fire Emblem. So I'll be playing that. That looks awesome. I loved Three Houses. I did not love Engage. I am hoping that this is more Three Houses than Engage. I'm hoping this is more Three Houses story, Engage gameplay. That's what I'm aiming for. Trails in the Sky second chapter is also September 17th. So the same day as Fire Emblem and the same week as Wolverine. I don't know how I'm going to do this because Fire Emblem and Trails in the Sky come out the same day. I want to play both. I got into Trails last year with first chapter. I've been waiting for second chapter. That is going to be a very weird week for me. I'm going to be alternating between both games, I think. But I am very excited for Trails in the Sky. For those that have not played it, you should try out first chapter. That got me into it in a way that the original games did not. So it might work for you, maybe not. Control Resonant is a week later at September 24th. And I liked Control. I didn't love Control, but I liked it a lot. Enough to be like, when there's a new Control game, I will definitely try it out. Control Resonant looks awesome. I am super interested in that. I think they are in a bad release window here. Like they are September 24th or September with all these other games. I think this is the one game that is going to get hit the most. I don't know why everybody chose to release all their games bundled up in September. I get why they're doing it because of GTA, but like they're just cannibalizing themselves at this point. But I'm excited for Control. Rayman Legends Untold is a week after that, October 1st. This actually includes Rayman Origins as well if you order it. I love Rayman Legends on the Wii U, which this is based off of. And so for me, a better version of that is easy. I'm in. And it was a cheaper release too, so it's just cool. This is like retro. If you like retro, I don't know why you wouldn't buy this. This is right up everybody's alley. So Rayman Legends Untold, and you get Origins too. Kingdom Hearts Collection, October 8th, is a week later. I have yet to jump into Kingdom Hearts. I have played the first one for like an hour and I jumped off. This is probably the year for me where I jump in. I don't know if I'm going to get it on October 8th, maybe December when things calm down a little bit, but I think this is the year that I actually jump in properly to Kingdom Hearts and check it out. I think I have to, but I don't want to be a Kingdom Hearts person. Those Disney adults, man, you got to watch out for them. Next up is Castlevania Belmont's Curse, which comes out October 15th, which is a week later than Kingdom Hearts. It's a new Castlevania. I am not a Castlevania fan, like massive at all. Like I'm not a huge fan of them at all. But this looked cool, and it is made by the Dead Cells developers, as far as I'm aware, which that was what got me interested. I'm like, I love Dead Cells. And I know Dead Cells is based off of Castlevania, basically. But if you take the Dead Cells quality of life stuff and you put it into a Castlevania, I'm there. So that's why I'm interested in. We'll see how that goes. Tales of Eternia Remastered is October 16th, a day later. This is a older Japanese-only RPG that is coming to the West for the first time, as far as I'm aware. But it's a Tales game. So it is called Tales of Eternia Remastered. Looks really cool. It's got an old school retro vibe and style, so I'm interested in it. I'll check it out. Final Fantasy Resonance. This is probably one of my most anticipated this year now that I've seen it, October 22nd. It's a new Final Fantasy game with HD 2D style, basically. And it's turn-based. And like the popular Final Fantasy characters are in it as summons. They call them visions. If you have not seen IGN's video on this, or I'm sure there's others, go watch it. This is what everybody wants a Final Fantasy game to be right now. It's 2D, turn-based, all of that. So like, if you're not buying it, I don't know what you're doing. But I'm one of my most anticipated this year. It looks awesome. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 is the next day, October 23rd. It is not on Game Pass anymore. I don't know if I'm going to buy it. I play Call of Duty every year, but I play it because it's on Game Pass and I enjoy it. It's my favorite shooter. Will I buy it now that it is not on Game Pass? That is the question that I have to answer. I don't know. I need to see. But I want to, because I don't play any other shooters. It's when I want to shoot people and things, I go and play Call of Duty. That's what I do. That is not a good soundbite. We're going to be in trouble for that one. Dragon Quest Monsters: The Withered World is December 3rd. I do plan on playing this because from October 23rd to December, there's nothing. So there's a big gap there for me to catch up on backlog and whatever. And then December starts and I get a new game, which is Dragon Quest Monsters. I know I skipped over GTA. It's because I haven't decided if I'm playing GTA or not. I don't really care too much about GTA. So it's a whatever thing. Dragon Quest Monsters: The Wither World looks really cool. I really like Dragon Quest Monsters games, so I will probably jump into this. Although the game looked kind of barren to me, so I'm waiting to see what else there is in it. I'm hoping there's a lot more than what they showed off in that trailer. Stranger Than Heaven, January 15th. This is the Tupac game. In case you did not know, Tupac is back and he is in Stranger Than Heaven. I don't understand it. I'm not going to pretend to understand it, but it is the RGG Studios who makes Yakuza. So it is those devs. Yakuza games are awesome. That gets me interested in this. I'm on the fence about this one. We'll see. This is one that is going to depend on reviews for me and if I'll grab it. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, February 12th. I'm definitely going to get. I haven't played a Tomb Raider game since the trilogy of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, so I'm excited to play this. I got nothing else to say about this. It looked good. It's Tomb Raider. Sure. And last game on the list is Persona 4 Revival, February 18th. I just finished Persona 4 this year for the first time after playing it. So not for the first time. I have been playing it for like 6 years, but I finally beat it this year. I will play it again next year. The new animations, the new graphics, the new everything looks amazing. You say Persona, I'm there. It doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm there. Obviously there was a lot of games missing in that list, but they don't have dates like Ocarina of Time, Persona 6, Final Fantasy VII Revelations, Danganronpa 2x2, Clockwork Revolution, Wolf Among Us 2, Xenoblade Genesis, and Until Dawn 2 were all on my list, and I'm missing a lot on that list too. All those games are still coming next year. And some are this year, like Danganronpa is supposed to be this year, and what else is this year? I forget. Oh, Ocarina is this year. Stacked. I don't know how you could not pick one game out of all of these to be like, I am super excited about that, but it is stacked. I need to take some time off to play these games. That's where I'm at. That's what I usually do. When new games come out that I'm super excited for, I'll take the day off and play them or whatever. So I'm going to be taking a lot of days off at this point. Anyways, that is all the games. Let me know what you are excited for. I want to know. Or if you have a list like I do, then just post it and let everybody know what you're excited for. Let's talk about games. Okay, as always, we end off the newscast with the newscast Q&A, so you can send in your questions to newscast@joeysretrohandhelds.com. It's an email address, or join the Discord. There's a newscast channel. You can send it in through there. You can also send in stories to that channel. I never really tell anybody that, but you can send in stories there if you want them to be covered. First question comes in from Dizzy Lizzy. How have things been after the divorce from the Odin 2 portal? Do y'all still talk, or have you two not been on speaking terms? Okay, but really, do you still feel as strongly about it since you're mainly on the Thor and Apex train now? Absolutely. Okay. Thor, the Odin 2 portal was my handheld of the year last year. I had the Thor a second. Would I go back and change that? No, because at the time, that's how I felt. The Thor has replaced my Odin 2 portal by far, but for a general recommendation for anybody to jump into this hobby, literally anybody off the street, the portal is the one I would recommend, especially at $249. There is not a single other handheld in that price range that I would recommend. When you have the best Android handheld in our space at $249, you walk, you don't run, or you run, you don't walk to that handheld. Despite the fact that I may not use it anymore, it is still going to be my recommendation to literally everybody. If you were going to spend $200 on a handheld, you spend a bit more, you grab the portal. If you're going to spend more than the $250 on a handheld, you buy the portal. There is no middle ground for me, except for the Thor. If you know that you're going to be playing DS, 3DS, and you are going to multitask in a way that the Thor excels in, then you buy the Thor. For everybody else, you buy a portal. For me, it is always going to be a dual screen handheld going forward, so it's the Thor. But the portal is 10 out of 10, top tier, always recommend. It's not going to change. As long as it's $249 right now, yeah. To the point where there's no other handheld I would recommend. So put it that way. Next question comes in from Balls. Do you think Xbox should make a return to exclusives? Yes, because what they were doing before was not working. Xbox, we could talk about Xbox for hours. They tried the other way. It's not working. They're going to go back to exclusives, but it isn't exclusives in a way that like it's exclusives just to the box. They're going to be on PC too. So as a PC user, I'm like, sure, do the exclusives. I can buy them on Steam or on your Microsoft store. I'm good. I don't need to go buy your Xbox hardware. That is where the problem comes in for Xbox, because if they do exclusives, what is the selling point of buying the hardware? Now, you could argue that the number of console users aren't buying PCs, so those people are going to go buy the hardware. And that's perfectly fine. But there is a large number of people that have to buy a PlayStation, for example, to play PS5 exclusives that now do not have to buy an Xbox because they can just buy it on PC. So they lose out on all those people that would buy an Xbox, that would have to buy a subscription service, that would have to buy all that. So I don't know how well the Xbox exclusive program is going to work. And I also find it very confusing that some games are exclusive, some games are not, some games are on Game Pass, some games are not. Like they're getting back to a point where like you have to start thinking about these things. And when I have to start thinking about these things, I stop caring about these things. Anyways, next question comes in from Shortening of the Way. Do you like dogs? I do. I had a dog growing up. It was a Shih Tzu named Nestle, and she passed away a long time ago. But I am allergic to dogs, so that's why I don't have a dog, or else I would have one. So it's unfortunate, but I do love dogs. But like little Shih Tzu and cute dogs, not like big pit bulls and all that. Like no. And that's it for today. That was all the questions. So I appreciate you all for watching, and that's all from me, Handsome Eddie, New York.